My name is Amanda Hartman and I'm one of the speech pathologists here on the team at AssistiveWare, and today we're looking at Proloquo4Text. This video will give you some ideas for how you might configure and customize Proloquo4Text for a person with a visual impairment. There are lots of things we can do. The first lot of customizations we can make are to the appearance within the app. Slight changes to the appearance and size of things within the app could make a difference for many. The second list of features we will look at are how the Apple iOS accessibility settings can be utilized within the app. There are a few accessibility settings designed for visual impairments, and they work well within Proloquo4Text. Let's look at the app now. Here in the app, we are currently looking at the default settings for the app. I can go into the options and then appearance to make a few key changes to how the app looks. These changes may help if a person has a visual impairment and has some difficulty seeing the buttons in the app. Firstly, we can turn on large icons. This makes the toolbar and toolbar buttons bigger and easier to see. It also makes the play and other buttons on the text pad larger. Next, we can look at the quick blocks, and in particular, looking at increasing the font size here. When we increase the font size here, it makes the buttons and the grids of all the quick blocks larger and possibly easier to see for some. We can also change the color settings with different combinations of background and font colors. So there may be a combination that works best for a person with a visual impairment. For example, we could do high contrast with a dark background and light text. Similarly, we can edit the appearance of the central text pad. We can increase the size of the font here so that it is easier to see. We can also play with the color combination of the background and font to suit the user needs. For example, we could set the background color to yellow and the text to blue. Whatever suits, really. I'm going to quickly change all the colors back to default before we move on. Okay, let's move on. The word prediction bar above the keyboard here can also be customized. I can change the size. So back into options, still in appearance, and at the bottom here, we can see that we can change the font size for the keyboard word prediction. Let's change that font size up to 36 and then see how it looks. And now up to size 52, the largest size. The font is larger, and consequently the word prediction bar are also larger, and therefore will be easier to see for some. I can change the color of the word prediction font, but not the background color. If I wanted to create a different color scheme for my word prediction, one option would be to move the word prediction to the quick blocks, and then it would take on the same colors that had been chosen for all of the quick blocks. To do this, I go back into options and I'll back out of here so I'm still in appearance. And I now will look for word prediction here in the quick blocks. Here it is. And currently it is turned off. But if I slide this toggle to turn it on, and I can leave it on the right side here, but I could also put it on the left. Now we will be able to find our word prediction as a quick block. Tap through, and here is word prediction on the side. This might be actually easier for some people to see. Plus, it will now have the color combination that I perhaps had chosen. That suits me best. With word prediction on the side in the quick block, I do not also need to have it above my keyboard. So I go back into options and appearance again, and and I go right down to the bottom so that I can turn off the word prediction for the keyboard. Slide that toggle off. Now I just have word prediction in my quick block and not above the toolbar. Some people with visual impairments also benefit from auditory feedback. If we look at Speak as You Type settings in the app, we can see some ways that a user can get auditory feedback as the app is being used. To access Speak as You Type settings, you go into Options, back out of Appearance, and then go into Language and Speech Settings. Here, Speak as You Type. Perhaps you turn on Speak by Letter. Then users can hear each letter as they type it and hear when a mistake is made. Similarly, you can turn on Speak by Word or even Speak by Punctuation. If these are turned on, this is what it would look like. So go back, clear this message.
I space N.
So you can hear it speaking each letter as I type it.
E D need space 2 G go S shopping dot I need to go shopping.
That's how the Speak as You Type settings could work for a person with the visual impairment. But let's turn back to the default of just Speak by Sentence before we move on. So far, we have looked at some of the settings in the app that can be customized to suit someone with a visual impairment. But what about the Apple accessibility settings? There are features within the iPad settings that will help with the use of Proloquo4Text if you have a visual impairment. Let's go into the iPad settings to look at some options. I go into my General tab and then open Accessibility. These are the features developed by Apple to accommodate for the different user accessibility needs. These accessibility features can be applied to not only Proloquo4Text, but also to any other apps you may use on your iOS device. Features like Voiceover and Zoom can be used within Proloquo4Text. I will quickly demonstrate Voiceover. The basic idea with Voiceover is that when I tap something now, I will hear what it is, and then to select it, I double tap on it. But before we open Voiceover here, we're going to head all the way to the bottom of the accessibility settings and set up accessibility shortcuts. This is basically the easiest way to turn on and off Voiceover and other accessibility settings. So if you are playing around with Voiceover and get stuck, then this shortcut can be very helpful. I go in here and I make sure that there is a tick next to Voiceover. The shortcut is if I triple click the home button, press it 3 times, then I can turn any of these accessibility features on or off. Now I have Voiceover as an accessibility shortcut, I can check the options in Voiceover. I may wish to choose the voice that I use, or the speed, the speech rate. And there are other settings in here, but we'll leave it as is for this demonstration. Now let's open up Proloquo4Text and see how it works. I will triple click the home button and then Voiceover will be turned on. 1, 2, 3.
Voiceover on.
And Voiceover is on. Now when I tap something, the iPad voice speaks to me to tell me what it is. And then I double tap on it to select it.
Clear button. Hide button. Text field. Double text field.
So let's try a phrase.
About me.
About me.
Button.
Double tap to select. Name.
Button.
Double tap to select. And now I'll type in my name. Even will work with my keyboard.
A.
So I tap the A
Alpha.
and then double tap to select it. M. Double tap to select it. A. Double tap to select it.
Amanda.
Amanda
Button.
and word prediction. Double tap to select it.
Start
A.
speaking. Button.
My
Start
name is
speaking.
Amanda.
And then word prediction, double tap to select it.
How are you button.
How are you?
Let's turn off VoiceOver now by triple clicking the home button. 1, 2, 3.
Voiceover off.
Let's go back into the iOS accessibility settings. There are other accommodations that may also help for a person with a visual impairment. Display accommodations allow you to change the colours, invert colours, or even add a colour filter. In speech settings, I can have text read aloud, but I can also get typing feedback. For example, characters spoken aloud, which is much the same as Speak as You Type settings in Proloquo4Text app. But if I use typing feedback from these accessibility settings, then I will also have this apply across typing in other apps. Visual settings such as larger text, bold text, button shapes will make some changes to the interface across the whole iPad and may help for someone with a visual impairment. For example, I might turn on button shapes and maybe we'll try some larger text. So we'll drag that up to get some larger text. Now double click to go back into Proloquo4Text and we can see what that looks like. You can see now I have an outline on my buttons as I wish to push them, which may make it easier. And when I go into options, the text is larger here, which may also help someone with a visual impairment who needs to be able to independently make changes in their options. That was just a quick demonstration of a few of the accessibility settings that can be used within Proloquo4Text. This video has focused on customizations in Proloquo4Text for people with visual impairments. These are just suggestions, and it is important that a user find the right set of customizations that suit their needs. If you need any further information, please check our website for more resources and videos. You can also contact our support team. Thank you.